other issues during departmental audit, sir, extremely important. Next 5-7 slides pertaining to our exporter community only. These are additional during only departmental audit, not scrutiny, because these are as per the books. Sir, have we ever witnessed during GST audit, the department is asking us of the ledgers of our sundry creditors. Why do they want? And they want your bank statements. And they don't want just your bank statement, they expect your cooperation to highlight those transactions where you made payment to all these vendors. Why? Because they want to make their own task easy, and they want to see ledger wise if you have made violation of this particular proviso, second proviso to section 16 subsection 2 and rule 37. Why? 180 days from the date of any invoice, if you have made payment after 180 days, sir, interest will be leviable. From where? From the, for example, it is the bill of April 2022. I have a purchase bill. I have availed the input tax credit. I have not made payment until 30th October. 6 months have passed. In November, in 3B, I have to temporarily reverse, right? As per this particular rule, I have to reverse temporarily in table 4B2. I have already explained. But interest, sir, interest I have to make payment in cash. How will I make from where? I have to make payment from 20th May 2022, due date of April GSTR 3B, till the date of reversal, which is November 20th 2022. I have to make the payment of this. Now what will happen? Once I make the payment of the full value of supply and the GST portion to the particular vendor, say 2-3 months later, I can re-avail the entire input which I have temporarily reversed. Now sir, major question, I have one question. If, for instance, this particular 6 months, this reversal happened basically, as I told you, in the month of November 2022. I made the payment to the vendor in December 23. This is after 30th November. 30th November 2023. Why is it important? Because as the last date to claim input tax credit pertaining to 22-23. But sir, this reclaiming of input tax credit, which we have reversed in 4B2, due to this has no time barring. As per section 16 subsection 4, huge benefit to us. We make the payment 10 years later to the vendor. We raise this particular amount in our, we keep the amount, we don't write it off in our books. We make payment 10 years later. I have reversed it, then I paid the interest also. That period is blocked, finished. I will reclaim it 10 years later in table 4A5 and report it in table 41. Because section 16 subsection 4, which time bars, means after 30th November you cannot take, it does not apply in these cases. But sir, why to go through so much of harassment? These are few grounds which I have taken for my clients in notices. Extremely technical, but there are no proven case law, judicial precedents to fight. But these are still few grounds of defenses which can be mentioned. Now, for example, here it is recipient fails to pay. What does the law say? Law says that if the recipient fails to pay to the supplier within 180 days. Sir, what is fails to pay? My contract with my supplier is I will make payment 2 years later. I will make payment construction contract, or for dispute I will hold 10%. I will not make full payment. I have a contract with my supplier. It can be more than 6 months. How can sir GST law dictate a contract that I have to make payment in 6 months? Failure to pay can only come out of a contractual obligation. I am violating some obligation or deadline. That can only come out of a contract. I can take this ground of defense, which can be, cited by all these case laws. RCTC, Calcutta word here, it says word failure means non-fulfillment of obligation imposed. Failure to pay when due under a contractual obligation. So I can show that I have a contract with my particular supplier. I will make payment after 6 months. Second thing, sir, up to 1st October 2022, we can again take this ground that before this amendment, 1st October 2022, the law asked us to make payment, added to your output tax liability in GSTR 2 along with interest and make the payment. Where is GSTR 2? Nobody has seen the light of day of GSTR 2. So I can quote these Supreme Court judgments and say, where any statute prescribes the manner in which it is to be done, it must be done in that manner only. When GSTR 2 is not there, how will I reverse? But they are going to argue, they will be like, oh no, you have to reverse in GSTR 3, and an annual return in table 7 is there for reversal. All those things will be there, but we can still quote this. Without machinery, the main charging section will fail. Here, legislative intent cannot be of earning interest, sir. Law cannot have a legislative interest of earning interest. यहाँ पर क्या हो रहा है? Delayed payment कर रही है. 6 महीना में payment नहीं किए, 9 महीना में किए. तो reversal नहीं करना है अपने को, because we have already made the payment to the government, but 3 months interest we have to pay. So now clients are getting notices of only payment of interest for 3 months because of delayed payment. No reversal because you have already made the payment. If till today you have not made the payment, then you will do ITC reversal, right, along with applicable interest. So it has been reduced to money making for interest. How can that be the legislative intent? This was introduced because to curb anti-evasion, as an anti-evasion measure, to curb the fake invoices nuisance, so that within 6 months it is paid. So we can quote all of these. In service tax regime, we had few case laws where it is mentioned that if you have already made the payment, if the supplier has already made the payment to the government exchequer, they cannot invoke. This is a revenue neutral situation. Sir, where is the loss to the government? My supplier has already made the payment. I have not made payment to my supplier. It's between the two of us. You have to got your money. Or if I made delayed payment to my supplier has paid it to the government. So now you just want to earn interest. So it is a revenue neutral situation. Secondly, if in audit, this is a very important point. If in audit this point is being caught, they are issuing notices under section 74. Blindly, sir, blindly. This is not a case of fraud. How can it be fraud? Where is the suppression? You know my bank statements, you know my details, whatever. Where is the tax involved? It is just delayed payment of interest. If just payment of interest, how can you invoke penalty? There cannot be any fraud, right?